Hello, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teaching. Another day, guys, another decent day. Lot to recap today, but sorry for another day, little late video, but we'll try to wrap it up early. Just a quick introduction to anybody who's new here. These are my trade recaps and teachings from the day, from any trade I take or any trade I don't take, but I guide my community, antenna trade community on and where we lost money, where we made money, and what was the repeatable setup we took, what was the system we used for that trade. We do not trade random, we trade repeatable setups, and we trade repeatable system. Our community, any trades I post on my community or share on my Twitter, or anything I shared with you guys on YouTube, and I try to recap those daily setups. Our community is not an alert service, but we work together. We every morning what we do is my team is up early. We go through all the news, pre-market, gappers, up, downs, downgrades, upgrades, and what we create is a game plan. So game plan is something that all of our community, we get it ready. What are the plays that we can trade today, and what are the support pivots, and are we bullish or bearish? And based upon our system and repeatable setup, we execute them for rest of the day. So this was the game plan for today, guys. CrowdStrike, JD, ROST, JWN, FL, and among others, PANW and Tesla. I usually star the ones which I focus on, or which are my main focus. So this was the watch list for today, the game plan for today. We will go one by one through all these plays, how they worked out, which were our losers, which were our winners. So we will go through that. Every morning I'm up on the voice, sharing my screen for first few hours, doing the market commentary, play commentary, and talking through the plays, how the market is looking, what are we looking on the stocks, what trade we should be long, what should be short. So just overall guidance for the community working together. So anyways, guys, that's the introduction. Let's start with the first play of today. Guys, the first way we're going to discuss is CrowdStrike. All right, so CrowdStrike, as we discussed, if you watch my yesterday's recap, I talked about some of these levels that we will be watching today, and most of those levels worked out. And this was the same repeatable setup as we played ADSK, SC. So it's the same repeatable setup that I teach you, or you would have watched my recent recaps from last few weeks. You should see, you could understand what this setup was and how we were short all day, and this was a huge win for everyone. So let's see what our pre-market plan on CrowdStrike. The pre-market plan on CrowdStrike was simple. The support pivot was 358, 350, 338. The resistance pivot was 379, 372. And the plan was we will watch the cloud pullbacks under 358. It can pull to 350, and under 350 it can pull to 338. I gave the complete game plan in the pre-market, and everything happened just according to the game plan. We broke 358, we went to 350, held it for a bit, then we broke 350, and then we went to 338. Neutral bias, we were still careful of any bounce of the clouds. So this was our plan. Let's see how we managed it and how we played out CrowdStrike today. So as soon as the market opened, guys, CrowdStrike, so let's go back, look how it kind of panned out. So as soon as the market opened, I saw some weakness there. I waited for a minute, and then I told everybody that we should short it. You can see my on 9:30 I said short it, and then I covered some in the 350s because we were waiting the 350 level. Remember, I talked about this 350 level in the game plan, and so we covered some at 350, and then we watched that 350 level. It gave up, tried to bounce, could not reclaim 350, kept fading, bounce, could not reclaim that, kept fading all day for the all day fade for us. So when it was, so let's just go back to the, go back to what was happening in the morning. So you see it's breaking my 358 level. So that's when I said we are short, but then it held this 350. So when it held this 350, I knew that it's in a range 350 and 360. And as long as it's under 360, it's a short. If we are panicking and covering it, that's our problem. We are not executing right way. So as long as it's under that 360, we are short, we should stay short. And I did talk about on the voice that we could trade 340 puts, and if it drops and if it was long, then that was a different call we were talking about. So I was talking about the 350 puts when we were breaking down 358. I did tell everyone that I will add more short if we break 350. Right, 350 buyers tried to hold up for first 20 minutes, but they finally gave up, and that's where I added more. And the first big flush, I covered what I added, because the first flush was to 343. So if you look at it, it was overall it was from 358 to 327. So it was a $30 per share short for us. If you look where I told my community that I'm short, and where by end of day we covered it, it was a $30 short. Now let's see what were my targets, right? So I already gave in a game plan that 338 is my target. I hit more, and then and slowly we hit our first target, 338. We got the 338, and let's see what happened. Then I told everybody, let the runners run. There's no buyer inside. I shared the same setup on Twitter as well, live as well. And then my targets were 330, 328. Where did I get 328 from? 328 I got from the 6.61 Fibonacci. How I draw this Fibonacci is from the close price to high of pre-market. That gives me the Fibonacci. And once 338 was given up, look here, 338 acted as a resistance. So this was your secondary short. It tried to become bullish, but it could not become bullish. It failed to become bullish. Yes, it was buying, there were buyers, but in reality it never confirmed the reversal. So if you were long, you could understand that it's a B minus C minus long, which has a low probability to turn profitable. So anyways, so it rejected here, and then it was fade again. A lot of traders in the community shorted this fade as well for nice fade back to 328. And 328 was the 61.61 Fibonacci that held to end of the day, and I think we can still fill some more gap tomorrow. Just amazing trade for us. You can see all my time-stamped guidance here, and the 340 put that I talked about went on to be 400%. It was $3, and I was on the voice guiding everyone. I really got some nice feedback. Those who did good in CrowdStrike even got some nice DMs on Twitter. So really well done on CrowdStrike. Repeatable setup, guys. There is nothing magic about it. I'm not genius. This is a repeatable setup. Everybody can do this. Just follow the system. Our system clearly told us that we are breaking down under the pivots that I gave in the game plan. If you look in the game plan, it was all here. Under 358, can pull to 350, under 350, 338. So yeah, very proud of this one. Beautiful setup. Remember, next time you get such a big gap up, sometimes we don't. Like we were trading Meta bounced from the clouds and we went long. So not every time we are going to get a gap fill on such mega moves, but when we get a gap fill, we need to hold. We need to maximize the potential. What do I tell you? When 512 clouds, as long as 512 cloud holds, you hold. If you cover, you add back with the profit. When this was rejecting here, breaking here, you add back. 338 is a resistance, right? So that 338 is the resistance. So anyways, guys, so this was the beautiful trade on CrowdStrike. Hopefully everybody got it, and you can pause it and look at my comments, and then you can see how it panned out. Yeah, in case you want to pause it and look at it and how it panned out. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, let's look at PLTR and how it was little trade which was how I lost it in the long breakout trade, and how it worked out. Let's look at it. So initially the plan, let's go back and look at the plan on PLTR. The plan on PLTR was, the plan for today on PLTR was 2470 was the support. The breakout was 26. Bullish to neutral versus the cloud. Daily has a breakout on 26. So I already knew that there is a breakout on 26. And when in the morning it started to reject, that's where I shorted it, because 26 was our clear defined risk. Was it an A plus short? Not really. It was a B minus short because it was over 3450 cloud. But regardless, I got the short. We got a decent entry, 2580s or 2575s. It faded 60-70 cents for us for a scalp. Then it came right back up. And then I covered my short. I was not red on the short, but when I saw this breaking out, I actually have a tweet about it as well that I can show you guys. Let me find that. So what I really wanted to show you is then when in the morning it started to break out, right? That breakout over 26, and I even shared, and but it right away failed breakout. So so I was short earlier and we got long for the breakout. You can see my time-stamped discussion here. Short is working. And of course, was it a good short? No, it was a B minus short. It was only a scalp because it was over 3450 and things always bounce at 3450. But I got long here for this daily breakout that you see here. And it failed explosively. And I had to take a loss and get out. And after that, it was a short in the gap. But again, even that short didn't fully work out. It bounced right back up. Where was the money to be made in PLTR? It was money to be made in midday curl over 3450. This setup. And it finally gave the 26 breakout that I have been waiting for, that I was discussing, that I gave in the game plan, that I was trying in the morning. It came later in the day and it went 75 cents from 26 bucks. Anybody who trade, and there were good traders who traded middle of the day, midday curl on this setup for this nice reversal. But I could have traded it again, but I have my rules. I don't, for my sanity check, I don't really mess up with the trade, which I mismanaged couple of times. So that was a mismanagement today. Stock has to do what it has to do. We can only follow our rules, right? I followed my rules, cut right away, and this will happen. This is part of the game. As long as we are not losing more than winning. We were winning so much on CrowdStrike, other setups. So this loser didn't really matter. It's part of the game. So I really wanted to talk about this one especially, and even though it was not our main play, not many people in the community were right on this, and a lot of people were actually green, and if you see that people knew that it's bullish over 25 psychological level. Punjabi Pablo, look at Jay, right? A lot of people got bullish on their own execution because they learned the system, right? Over 25 there is no short. Right, and Jay got 100%. So really good job done in the community by everyone. So it's all about that, right? Understanding which is the best setup, how to manage the risk reward, how to manage your losers and get best out of it. So you can clearly see traders who nailed it in the community. So that was PLTR. So just wanted to touch base on this breakout loser today and how I managed, and how was it still a good trade set up later in the day. So next one we are going to talk about is PANW. PANW. Let's look at the plan on PANW. What was the plan? The plan on PANW was simple. It was a CrowdStrike sympathy. Short under 300, long over. That's simple. It was a psychological level setup. Short under 300 and long over, and it was already under the clouds and it was breaking this pre-market lows. Look here, it rejected right on that 300 psychological level. So plan was given, and as you already know, it was a sympathy of CrowdStrike, and CrowdStrike was already fading, so PANW would fade too. And my target was 280, and I told everybody if T280 breaks, it's going to go even lower. And you can see the timestamp guidance here. 284 first target, then 280 target, and I said leave runners under 280, and we got 277. Never reclaimed bullish pivot, all day bearish. And same setup was Z-scaler. Z-scaler was same setup. So Z-scaler was same setup. It was a CrowdStrike sympathy, and traders nailed it. You could have traded CrowdStrike, PANW, any sector, the whole sector. It was a sector short. It was a sector short. Cyber security sector short. It was that simple that you could have traded it. And look at the Z-scaler fade, 212 level and fade to 200, almost 10 points. And a lot of people did really good on all these PANWs and ZS. All day the traders were really doing good. Blue Zenith really did good. See, Batman was really doing good. So everybody was executing their own their own conviction, because it was the setup. Look, KKR was in ZS puts, Doug Boy was in ZS puts, Rich Owen was being puts, everybody was in ZS puts, right? So you understand that how we trade it, right? Shashank was in Z-scaler put. So how we traded the connection, we're not doing the alerts. These guys are not taking ZS alerts. They are taking the guidance and the learning, and that's how they're executing. So next play we are going to look at is ROST, R-O-S-T, ROST. So let's go back and see what was the game plan on ROST. The ROST on the game plan was bearish to neutral, watch the cloud fails. If it gets over the cloud, we'll get a B minus bounce. So support was 144.22, 143.80, resistance was 146.50. As soon as market opened up, it pushed over the clouds. So what does that mean? It's not a short for us. Can we long it? Yes, we watch the pullbacks, we can long it. And that's why I told everybody at 9:47, I said bullish versus 145.50. Again, it's just my guidance. If a trader, watch for the pullback, take an entry, that's your risk. But anyways, from that bullish move, it did move from 147.50 all the way to $50, right? So that was kind of not a great risk reward. It was one risk. If you had your risk at, let's say, even if you had risk on the clouds, and you could have easily because I said this on the second candle, it was right here at that time, it was like $2 risk and you could have made $3. Or if you risked $1, you could have made $3. So that was the whole point in this. So anyways, so you see the guidance, you see the system, how the long worked. So what was AVAV? So what was it AVAV? AV was a day 2, right? And if you watched my yesterday video, I clearly explained why AVAV was an explosive day 1 and why it's explosive day 2, right? You can even swing these setups, these A plus setups, you can swing them, add in the morning, does not matter, right? If you go back, it's AVAV is right at number 2 on my pre-market watch list, and AVAV was on the top of my day 2 plan. My day 2 rules are simple, right? A plus, A minus, B plus. I explain them what day 2 is. I'm not going to spend time again. Go watch my old videos. Watch for over the clouds bullish or yesterday's highs bullish. Take long. Risk is under the pre-market lows or the clouds, and that's the day 2 long. Anyways, the point is AVAV was day 2 long. It from that breakout, the level that was the breakout level 170, 170, 170, 170. It went way all the way to 184. Right, so 172, it was almost a 12-point trade per share on AVAV. So next one we're going to talk about is FL, right? So what was the plan on FL? Let's go back in the pre-market notes and check. The plan on FL was, let's go back here. So the plan on FL was bearish bias to short the pop, right? The Footlocker dives after the quarterly results, but full year profit missed. Support is 29, resistance is 32. Bearish bias to short the pops. And what happened? Let's go back and see how did it work out for us. So faded from the resistance, that's where you short. And I was on a voice telling people that how it's heavy, and I told them even after 20 minutes that it's still a short. Even at $26, I told them it's still a short, and I gave them a target of 25, and we met our 25. After that, I told them to leave 1/3. Then we met another target, right? And we got 23.90, and after that we got 23. So there was still a big fade. If you traded at the open, you still got a nice really good fade from 29 all the way to 23 for like $6 per share. Even if you were late, even if you only need a part of it, right? That's more than enough. From 26 to 23, that's a $3 per share short. Flawless setup, guys. These are the setups where you let them run. So that's what I want you guys to do, to let them run. Doesn't matter we lose in PLTR or some other bad trade. These are the morning setups that you need to let them run all day. That's how you will make exponential winners. All day short winner. Let them run. As long as the trend holds, let your winners run. Otherwise, there's no use of these setups that I share with you guys every day. You know, because if you don't make it really work to its full potential, then it's not really worth it, because one loser will wipe all these 3-4 good setups. What's the use? Alright guys, next one we're going to discuss is JWN Short. Let's go back. What was the plan on Short? The plan on Short was simple. A support pivot was 1830, resistance pivot was 1920, short under 1920, long over, bearish bias to short the pop. So I tell my bias. So that was my bias. And let's see what did JWN do. So JWN rejected 19, popped all day, faded. I kind of mismanaged it. I covered, but I didn't really re-add it. But the plan worked flawlessly, just as we planned in the pre-market, right? What did I say? What did I say? Bearish bias to short the pops, short the pops, short the pops, right? You could have shorted this pop and all day fade to 1740. Candle never really closed over the 512s, right? But I just wanted to lock my profits. That's why I closed it. But the re-ads will give you more trade, right? Beautiful. And see, it broke the 50 EMA on daily, so that's very important. 50 EMA was broken. So look at my guidance, look how it worked out. This beautiful short JWN. So next one we are going to look at is Tesla. So Tesla was all guidance was by Win. So Tesla gave a short versus 180, Win gave a short versus 180, and it was just a proper EMA cloud trade. It's rejecting EMA cloud. Either you can add a short here on the pop, or you can add more into the pre-market lows break. But you can see Win's guidance here. Amazing guidance on Tesla short. Really did good there. Traders really did good. See, it's very bearish, right? It's not time to bounce yet. So I'm going to look at Microsoft first, right? So I told everyone in the morning to avoid Microsoft long. Why? So let's look at our levels today, like the daily levels that I give everyone in the morning. Support pivot is 405, resistance pivot is 406.50, and it was breaking the support pivot, and it was heavy. So that's why I told everybody, do not long Apple and Microsoft. It's all about saving the money, right? So that's what power of my community is. I don't, make people money, but I make sure that help them preserve their capital, staying away from any bad setups, any bearish setups, just leaving them alone. Look at Microsoft. I told in the morning, avoid it. And since I said that, Microsoft faded $3-5, right? And under 400 also you could scalp short. And then it was a long versus the 400 psychological level. So Microsoft was a long versus 500 psychological level, 400 psychological level. Nice reversal. Because 400 is always a great level. If once it pushes over 400, you put your stops under 400, 399, 60, 70, and let it work. And that is high conviction, setup. And look where it's bouncing. Microsoft is bouncing from daily 50 EMA chart and 400 psychological level. It's a big level for Microsoft to bounce. We'll see what it does tomorrow. All right, let's talk about snow again. We talk about snow every day. We talk about snow, and I told it, it's still heavy. It's still heavy. We do not need to long it, right? So let's go back and see at my sub day 2, day 3 sheet. Support was 169.50. That means 169.65. You do not long under that. Once it was gone, it was gone. You do not long it. You just leave it alone under 169.50, right? So that's what it is about. So you just leave it alone when it's breaking this level. There is no long there. This again goes back to that concept, saving what you have. It's not always about making money, saving what you have. So that's why and of course it was a short, right? A lot of traders shorted it in the community, very proud of them. That was really good. They shorted Snow because I told them not too long. From my experience, I can guide them. And MACD trades was short. So it was just slow, beautiful slow bleed every day. So when it becomes bullish, we'll trade bullish. We'll trade our system. We'll trade versus the levels and clouds. We are not worried. But Snow was all day bearish. So let's look at target. So let's just go look at target. So what was the target? Target was a day too long, right? So basically target was a day too long, and these were yesterday's levels, yesterday's highs, clouds, breakout, just like AVAV. It didn't really work out like AVAV, but you could have easily traded at open long over this pivot, use this as risk, and trade to 175 for the morning scalp. After it could not get out of these 5 candles, then I knew it's kind of little heavy. I told everybody it's breaking 512, just get out. The point is, you don't want to lose on this trade because it took so long to break out, and it could not because there was a seller. But that's fine. Stock moves how it wants to move. Now we'll watch it again for tomorrow. I just want to talk about BIDU. It was a day 2, and it was over the clouds but pulled back, and then long here, but it failed, and then you get out, take a quick loss and get out. But then it chopped rest of the day. It was on my day 2 list, but didn't kind of work out. So that was BIDU. Another one that I really like was NARI, because it was over the cloud. It has been selling for a few days, and I thought it's good to have it on day 4. And I did some research. It's a good long-term stock as well, and it was bullish, pulled back, held the clouds, and pushed higher. So NARI was okay. Let's see what GTLB did. GTLB did the same thing as yesterday, pull and back, never gave real entry. When you get extended so much from the clouds, it's hard at the open, but it was the day 2. And then we have our VKTX day 3, again held the clouds, break out over yesterday highs, and pushed nicely as well. So almost of these these stocks did good. AKRO did not do good today, but I'm going to be watching it tomorrow as well. So just some day 2, day 3 setups. And what did we do on NVIDIA? So there was this NVIDIA short at end of the day. There was a big flow coming in. They were selling 900 calls, and so it was a good short. I tweeted about that as well. And it faded once the calls started to come in. It faded back to 875. Tape was all on top of it, and that was a good call by him. With this just a B- short, watching this first cloud break, basically the trend line break, and then it was not like a crazy size play. It was okay, a kind of scalp play, because the flow was coming in. It gives you a little bit confidence, and you can follow the flow and little short it. So that was it, guys. Nothing. There's not much really to discuss apart from that. We'll see what market gives us tomorrow. Market is I don't know how SPY and QQQ are holding up, while the other market is just fading. So if Apple, Microsoft, all these bounce, then SPY is gonna bounce. SPY is gonna continue to go. So that's the thing. But if semiconductors get weak and Apple, Microsoft, other names do not bounce, then we are in trouble. So we'll see what happens, right? I mean, I do like some names. I took a starter on Google today. I do like some names in case we bounce, or like even if 1 or 2 day relief bounce, we are still in this upward channel on SPY, and kind of very choppy action. And QQQ is being held by QQQ is just being held by semiconductors at this point, right? It's not really a very healthy market, because it's the big ones are not participating. They have a decent pullback, but all we need to see is either the big 7 stay weak and then semiconductors give up, then we are in trouble. Or the semiconductors stay strong and Apple, Microsoft bounce, then we're gonna have another push on SPY back to the high side of this channel that you see. And VIX has been doing okay lately. I mean, as long as, you know, I mean, it's perky. If VIX get over 15, then we just have to be a little careful. Then market can have a lot of pressure. AVGO's earning is coming up. We'll keep an eye, see how that goes. But just taking it one time at a day, one time, you know, and not taking any day risks. Only thing I added was Google, because it's coming to 130 support, and that's also a starter position. And you know, we'll see how it goes, right? Microsoft, Apple are definitely at a certain levels where they can bounce. But again, we'll take it every day. Anyways, guys, thank you. Sorry for the late video. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.